Today, Cathie Wood comes on CNBC and calls Tesla the best AI play in the world. Steve Wesley also comes on a network and says that Tesla robo-taxis are inevitable. And this is all in the context of just yesterday, Elon saying that FSD V12 2 weeks away. So let's get into it.
You've been very bullish on autonomy.
Yes.
Vehicle autonomy of ETF all around it, robotics and the like. What do you make of what's happened with Cruise, the shutdown of Cruise, at least the temporary suspension of it? Derek Khosrowshahi, who runs Uber, was on the broadcast last week. He said he doesn't think that autonomy, in terms of autonomous vehicles or robo-taxis or the like, are a real thing for another 5 or 10 years. And so here we are.
Yes.
So what have you changed your view about that?
No.
I mean, you must have, because I imagine if we go get tape of a conversation that we all probably had 5 or 10 years ago, we probably said 5 or 10 years from now.
22, 23,
Right.
24. We actually delay ours by 1 year relative to Elon, so maybe it should be 2 years. But here's where we've learned how important Tesla's proprietary data is. It's 5 million robots around the world. Cruise didn't have anything like that. It had hundreds. 5 million robots around the world collect data every day and send it back to Tesla. Tesla has more corner cases, which means disengagements, accidents, information like that, than all the other companies in the world combined. And I have to tell you, watching the breakthroughs in AI that we are seeing, they are astounding, the speed at which this is moving.
Right.
So it is interesting. I think it's a data issue. Autonomous taxi platforms are the biggest AI project in the world, and therefore we think Tesla is the
but
biggest
you have
AI player.
you've sold Tesla shares, and it's it used to be the #1 holding, I believe, in your ETF. It's now number 3. You've sold about 20 million shares.
Yes.
Why?
So, well, whenever it goes up, it was up about 150%. Relative to our other names, many of which had not moved. So we will always recycle that way, take profits. And I would also say, listening to Elon on the last conference call, he's very concerned about the economy, as we are.
Cathie, will I look outside 5 years from now and see GM and Ford EVs everywhere?
It's very interesting to hear both of them pull back saying,
but do you think, with this new way, I don't even know if we'll be talking about GM and Ford in 5 years.
What is interesting about the news that both of them are pulling back for profitability reasons, they can't be profitable in this space unless they scale. That's how this works.
It's a catch-22.
So it's catch-22, and their shareholder base is very internal combustion engine oriented, and they want their profits now, and they want their dividends now. And they don't want that kind of investment.
So how are they going to do it? Will they be able to?
I don't know. All I know is, back to the Tesla question, as they are pulling away, our market share expectations for Tesla go up.
This interview with Cathie Wood reminds us just how insane Tesla's lead really is. Not only are Tesla's vehicles cheaper than the average vehicle in the United States, not only do they have industry-leading margins, but they also get data from every single car that they sell, which will contribute more to their profits in the future. And over the weekend, NVIDIA announced their new H200 GPU chip, an upgrade from their previous H100. Sawyer writes it can handle massive amounts of data for generative AI and high-performance computing workloads, such as Tesla's neural network training for FSD. So the better that NVIDIA's products get, the better Tesla's FSD gets. And because generative AI is in its toddler years right now, everyone needs hardware to start building out their systems. NVIDIA is seen as the big winner in the AI industry right now. But as soon as Tesla has FSD 100 times safer than a human and Optimus knows 10 skills, then we start getting those software-based AI profits, and Tesla gets that holy grail that everybody wants. So now let's hear former Tesla board member Steve Wesley weigh in.
AI is a huge part of the story, but what's happening here is what happened with smartphones. It's what happened with a lot of things. The growth line is like this for a decade, and it just feels overhyped. And all of a sudden you hit that inflection point and things begin to take off. I will just say flat out, you're not going to see a lot of artificial intelligence vehicles, self-driving vehicles in the next 1, 2, or 3 years. They're already on the roads in San Francisco. You can get in a car tonight without a human driver. But it's going to take a while. But if you look 5 to 10 years out, Two companies, Tesla and Google, are way ahead of everybody else in the autonomous driving area. BYD is way behind. Tesla is right there at the front. If you look forward, the fact that Tesla has invested in R&D on autonomous driving where others haven't, you've got to give them an edge on that. And I think that's going to add a lot to the valuation. By the way, charging for that drops to the bottom line. And don't forget, a lot of the cars in the future will not be sold to individuals like they are today. They'll be sold to fleets of people who are doing autonomous ride hailing. And that's the way of the future. The only question is, does it take 5 or 10 years? But right now, Tesla appears to be in front.
What's funny to me, though, is Tesla is not just one step ahead. They're like 2 steps beyond that. I would say that the first step they are ahead in is energy, because for all of this to happen, we need to be able to reliably power our society, and no other automaker is making energy storage solutions in-house like Tesla is. So that's the first step they are ahead in. And just to be clear, that should have been the first step for every company, but they all decided to skip that step. And now Tesla's seeing amazing growth and margins in the energy sector because all the other automotive companies skip that step. So I'm not complaining. And despite not skipping the first step, Tesla is still in the lead on the second step, which is autonomous driving. They currently provide the most scalable solution and they have the most data. Google Waymo is partnering with Geely to produce robotaxis, and that looks promising. But we'll have to see what Google knows about manufacturing. We'll see how cheap they can make these robotaxis, and we'll see what kind of return on investment they get when they are predicting that they are only going to charge $1 per mile to ride hailers. So most companies are thinking about step 2 right now, but Tesla has already put all of their pieces in place. All they have to do now is build out their clusters with as much compute as they can get their hands on to train their models. And all of this takes time. So Tesla has now moved on to step 3, which is to create an autonomous robot that will not only generate income outside of automotive, but will also help them to produce automotive vehicles for cheaper.
So it's interesting because you said out of the cars that you really like Tesla and BYD, but when it comes to AI and full self-driving, you said it's Tesla and Google, and that leaves BYD way behind. And, you know, even the likes of Uber and Lyft, there was, you know, they used to have research departments. They sort of dumped out of that, right? Uber was supposed to be in this game, and they're out, right?
AI is not easy. It's a big deal. It's where the whole world is going. You know, 10 years ago, we barely knew what ride hailing was. Now it is pervasive. In another 10 years, you're going to see autonomous ride hailing in every part of the world. Whoever owns that is going to have a big advantage, especially in these emerging market companies. That's why Tesla was smart to invest there. Now, you've got to pause for a minute and say Elon has consistently overpromised how soon it's going to be ready, and it's still maybe years out. But within 5 to 10 years, mark my words, you will see a lot of autonomous vehicles on the street. And the question is, does Google have a card to play here? And will they be developing their own vehicles, or will they be the Google inside for the world's automakers that were the smartest Tesla to do that investment?
I agree with Steve Wesley that there's no way Tesla doesn't solve FSD 5 to 10 years from now, but there's also the chance Tesla solves it well before that. There's a new version of FSD beta coming out called V12, and the difference with this version is that there's no code telling the car what to do. They just show it a bunch of video, the car watches it, and that's how it learns how to drive. This is AI at play within Tesla. So Omar asked Elon yesterday when he expects this new version to come out to customers, and Elon said 2 weeks. This was much sooner than anybody expected, so no one really knows if this is true or not, but it does happen to coincide with the Cybertruck delivery event, so it might be true. We're going to have to see. But guys, with V12 potentially coming out, Tesla's buying an insane amount of compute lately. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't take 5 to 10 years. Maybe by 2025, you literally never have to intervene with your vehicle. Like, think about it like this. Tesla has enough compute to train their vehicles on millions of video clips. It'd be like if you got your license at 17 years old and then you drove 24 hours a day for 1,000 years. A car can accumulate that much experience extremely fast. So it's no wonder Tesla is willing to cut prices. They don't care. They know their software is going to be so good. So the more vehicles that they get into customers' hands, the more software they sell. It's simple.
Tesla has reduced prices for all of their models roughly 25% this year. And so at a $32,000 post-rebate for the Model 3, that's already less than the average internal combustion engine car in the United States today. But if Elon can get a $25,000 Tesla on the road in 2 or 3 years. That's the holy grail. That'll single-handedly accelerate EV production probably 2 years. And they're doing that by streamlining manufacturing costs, bringing battery costs down faster than anybody else. What's really interesting to me is BYD is booming in China, selling rapidly in South America, but now they're moving quickly into Europe. And I think Elon sees where this is going. He wants to build the new $25,000 Tesla in Berlin. The next big battleground is going to be Tesla versus BYD for Europe. And I think if Elon can get this car on the market in 2 or 3 years, it's going to be a game changer for Tesla.
Things are starting to shape up, and I'm beginning to see how Tesla hits their growth targets over the next couple of years. Tesla is already working on designing the assembly line for the $25,000 car at Giga Texas. So they take that design, stamp it at Giga Berlin, stamp it at Giga Mexico, and let's assume 1 million cars, 1 million robo-taxis from Giga Texas, 1 million from Berlin, and 2 million from Mexico. That's already 4 million additional cars just right there within reach, within the foreseeable future. And then Tesla announces, I don't know, Giga India, and that's another 2 million $25,000 cars. So now that's 6 million on top of the 2 million per year that we already get from the Model 3, Model Y, and the Cybertruck. So now that's 8 million cars per year. And then I think once interest rates come down, once V12 rolls out and FSD becomes nothing but a certainty, that's when Tesla starts deploying their cash. Gigafactory there, Gigafactory there. We have these ultra profitable robots on wheels that are going to make us income every year. Let's start fucking pumping these things out. Make the world clean energy, make a huge amount of money, and reward our shareholders who have shown to be good allocators of capital. You know, and then who knows? Some of us might go to Mars, some of us might stay here on Earth and fall in love with Optimus. We don't really know what's going to happen. But all I know for sure is that if you have a 10-year timeline, Tesla is a great investment. And let's hear Steve Wesley make sense of Tesla's valuation.
Tesla's going to do roughly $100 billion in revenue. People always used to say, Tesla's a cool company and the cars are nice, but they're not selling many vehicles. Well, now they're selling a lot of vehicles at $100 billion revenue, growing 40% a year. I think having a 6x revenue multiple is probably fair, and I think there's a lot of upside for growth. What people forget is they're still profitable, and they still have an edge in both manufacturing, over-the-air software, and other things that other companies just can't duplicate. The big picture here is, can the Chinese, with their lower-cost battery and lower-cost manufacturing, compete with Tesla's edge, which is the most advanced production facility in the world and the ability to sell over-the-air software faster than anyone. The other thing that's fascinating for me that most investors, I think, don't really factor in is the fastest growing part of Tesla is their energy division. So they got multiple things going on. I think Tesla and BYD, frankly, appear to be pulling ahead of the crowd, and investors have to reward that. And by the way, don't assume that just because it costs $25,000, the margins are going to be wildly compressed. Tesla's doing a lot of smart things with batteries, with manufacturing, especially the robotization of manufacturing, that others, including the Chinese, just have not been able to copy.
So to summarize, Steve Wesley saying a 6x revenue multiple on Tesla is warranted because they're so far ahead in all of these areas, you know, growing energy division, scalable autonomous solution. But then today, Tony Sacconaghi of Bernstein comes on CNBC and says Tesla is just a car company. You know, some things never change. This guy and many other Wall Street analysts are going to be walking in New York one day. They're going to see robo-taxis with no driver, buy a Tesla, drive right past them, and they're still not going to get it. Some things just never change. Anyways, thanks for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.